amazing audience. In Trinidad we say if it's nice you do it twice. So we had we had Karen C. Auld, and now it's followed by this conversation is followed by Bill C. Auld. Definitely we have Bill Auld. But Bill, it's a great pleasure to connect with you. I did see you virtually as well.
Yes.
A few times.
I poked my head in.
You did, And it's been the conversation that people aren't privy to experience. Oh my! But thank you so much, for your input.
It's so interesting to meet you. So
I appreciate
I'm glad to be
that.
part of it.
Well, do tell us which of your talents do you think is responsible for us connecting at this space and time?
Which of my talents? Wow, that's a very interesting question. Openness. I think that's what it is. I mean, being able to, I know you through Karen C. Auld. And, but, little things like poking my head in there. I kind of wanted to, see what you're doing, see what you're all doing in the group that you were all meeting with. Open to your ideas, other people's ideas. I think that's what got me here.
Who did you learn that from?
I would say initially my parents. My parents were always ones to make sure that I didn't prejudge people. So to be open to whatever they were about. And then that was fortified when I met Karen, and she taught me things that I was a little kind of more introverted, like we were talking on the conversation before all this, but I was a little bit introverted then. I'm always somebody who likes to see new people and do new things, but sometimes, and she got me into doing classes and meeting people that I would never meet, and once you do that a few times, it doesn't take long.
Yeah, it's addictive.
It's exciting. Yeah, it really is. Like, oh yeah, I like this. I didn't know I liked this. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. We've been having conversations around introverts, and it's like, hey, introverts, you owe it to yourself to do some extroverted things. It helps.
Yeah.
Like you owe it to yourself. Like I was talking to one woman, and she said, I'm no longer an introvert. I got tired of it.
Yeah.
And that has been fascinating. Why will you continue now that you've found this new territory, if you would, right? Why will you continue to repeat the skill of just dipping into that extroverted ways? No.
Well, it's interesting that you say it in that way, because I've probably been an extrovert for quite some time, but it's interesting how you hold on to those certain things that you formulated when you were younger. So that person in me that was nervous about talking to people or being not nervous about being in front of people, but engaging in that way, that probably was a long time ago for me.
Yeah.
But you still identify with it at some point. So I think I don't know what that means in reality, but I think it's interesting that I would still hold on to a little bit of that.
Yeah.
What keeps me going to do it? It's exciting. I think I like to see what people's take on things are. So I and sometimes to a fault, I'll want to see everybody's side, and that often I find gets people to think that I don't have my own side, or I have a different side than they thought, because I'm just trying to see what that other person is thinking. So like, all right, where are they getting at? So I'm not necessarily being that, but that's where they, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I definitely like today we were talking and I asked a question, and it was strictly a question, but because I wanted to know exactly that, and I've realized that we as humans tend to hear with I first. And it's natural.
Yeah.
It's like if I say, one day I was walking down the road and I saw this dog, and this dog rushed after me. You would think about the time possibly or then you would put it probably it's a defense mechanism, so that when you walk, you do not get rushed, right?
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
But yes, I definitely know what you're talking about. Tell me one other thing you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Consistently. Wow, that's a simple question, but difficult. I mean, I've tried to be kind. Let's put it that way. So I was going to admit when I first started dancing, I was going to go, well, I've been going to work and building my business and doing that type of stuff. But I think in the light of a lot of stuff that have gone on in the past 3 years, I think I've tried to open myself to kindness and give kindness. And that's not a build you up, like build me up like I'm this super kind guy. I have my bad days too. But you know what I mean? Like I think the world needs a little bit of that at this point. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it needs a ton of
that. Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you do choose to be kind and follow through with being kind?
It's kind of that circle that you help somebody else, you just feel, I'm getting a chill thinking about, how it makes me feel. So I don't even know if I'm saying that. It's just, it comes back, so and that again was something that would be harder for me to do when I was 18 or 20. Okay. And think, I don't want to spend the time doing that. But now it's part of what I do, So I think kindness is a good word, and I've stolen that from a few people, and it's not a new idea. But,
it's a good steal.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had to suggest to someone that's listening why they should do what you've done by again choosing to be kind and following through. Suggest to them why they should do that.
Again, you're only serving yourself when you're serving others. So be selfish in the fact that, in a sense, you are doing it for yourself, because that would be the reason I would do it. I mean, there is a selfish aspect to it. I know it's going to come back to me. I know I'm going to meet somebody who I was kind to, and eventually they might help me with something that I'm doing, and that's not the reason why you do it. It may help somebody else, and then you won't know how it got back to you, but it'll get back to you sometime. And,
What's the best way for someone listening to reach out to you?
They can. There's a few ways. I run 501c3 corporation, charity called the Joseph Lipinski Foundation. If you look at lipinskifoundation.org, you can find us. We help. Our main focus is health issues, family issues, and the environment. And then, but my day job, I'll say, is I'm an architect. So if you want to reach out to me at theauldpartnership.com.
That explains this.
Yeah. So that's where my kind of passion is, and I'm fortunate to do something that I love doing. So
that's good. Now let's switch gears for a moment.
All right.
Let me invite you, if you can imagine, with me into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Bill, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory. It's back. Wow, that is so good and so difficult. I mean, I think of playing with my Matchbox cars in my bedroom in the morning before my parents would wake up. So it was like time for myself. I used to like to get up early, and I would go into my closet. I could see that now. This is really weird. I haven't thought about this in years, but I had this thing that had little toy cars, and I used to play with them and create different scenarios and stuff. But it was neat because they weren't awake yet, and I got to create this world before they got up, and then I would show them the things that I did.
How old do you think you were?
Probably kindergarten, so first grade. I don't know how old you are then. 5?
3, 4.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
I don't know. Maybe because it was personal time, so it was something that I had and it was creative. And again, I've always been or I like to think of myself on a creative side of things. So if I was creating this world that was new to me, I mean, I think that's, and that's early. You don't have a lot of experience at that point, so yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe you have some inherited experience at some point.
I'm
Yeah,
sure. I'm really sure.
Yeah.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Okay.
I love the idea of what we were talking about as to introverts who are new oncoming extroverts and how they need that space. So to see you finding that space in your room to then be the extrovert race car guy, right?
That's very interesting.
To then express it, right? Yeah. And even now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the car I saw out there is probably yours.
Yes.
The other Karen, right?
That's it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right? If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
12 years old, favorite song. So that would still be so I'm thinking in the time and space where I'm at. Simon and Garfunkel, the Scarborough Fair Canticle song. It's a mixed mashup of two songs that they did. And that was probably given to me by my parents. It was more of their time frame, but I latched on to Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon at that point. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how things connect. I mean, the fact that the song you love is a mixture of two things, right? Yeah. Introvert, extrovert. Yeah, I'm just saying.
You're good.
I'm alright. Alright, my friend, well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. Have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
I am.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Do I what?
An inner circle of friends.
Yes.
Are you sure you don't want to mention these cats though? When I said,
I have an inner circle of cats. And they're all around us right now, yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
3 hours a week?
Definitely.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
More than 8.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Bill Auld, what would you say that is?
Wow, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah. You could say pass.
Yeah. No, I would like to just be quick on it for you. Be open to others.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Just like, well, anyway, that's another session. Amazing, but let's do it because, I mean, being open to others doesn't necessarily mean that the door needs to be open, but you can prepare before the parents wake up, right? So that when the door opens, you are prepared. So being open to others gives you the opportunity to understand that there can be boundaries, but at the same time, there's a preparedness. Make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah. You did it, right?
Yeah.
Well, Bill, thank you for being on What is Inspired. Before we leave though, is there anything you'd like to share before we close?
No, I just, I enjoyed my time here. It was almost like a therapy session in a way. That was very good. I didn't expect that. I expected to be excited about what we were doing. I'll do it in the sense of, I'm excited for the journey that you're embarking on right now and doing these talks, and I know you're in the early stages of what can be a long journey, so I wish you the best success in it, and hopefully the highs are really high for you. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, no lows. I appreciate it. Bill, thank you for being on What is Inspired.
All right.
My 12-minute convos with Angel Jones. I am going to sleep now.